I'm doing this on my iPhone because I am a pro. Hello! Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If I don't do it now, I'm never gonna be able to do it. I like my hair being long, but I can't handle this.
What do you mean, we?
My ultimate favorite childhood movie ever to exist, Corpse Bride. This is gonna take a minute. Video? What is that? I know, right? Do I spin it around? Like this. Now, we don't want any of these languages, right? The only one that we want is Australian. Anyone remember these? Fun fact about me. Special features on this DVD. This movie came out in 2005. I was 4. I do not have really much recollections of encountering this movie for the first time. My mother actually bought the DVD when it was brand new from my local service grocery station from town. It was 2005, so this was back in the good old days when they used to rent out DVDs and VHSs. Boo to all streaming services. Raise your hand if you still buy DVDs and VHSs. Okay. And I vividly remember this being associated with the rental DVD store because it had the stickers on the DVD and the cover. Because sometimes when they had way too many DVDs and what they actually could count for, they would just sell the rest of them. The good old ancient days. I miss it. The moment I got my hands on this DVD, I have been utterly obsessed with it at 4 to 5 years old. In fact, Corpse Bride is the biggest thing that I can definitely credit when it comes to be hyper aware of behind the scene features, getting into the celebrity culture. Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Emily Watson, and Tim Burton were the first faces and names that I was ever able to recognize at such a young age. Because I had a lot of time on my hands as a young child, and when I was 5 years old, before that point I was living in a room with 3 of my siblings. My oldest sibling ended up moving out of this bedroom, had a trailer outside of the house, so I moved in here. And the rest is history, including with movies. It's really the behind the scenes footage that was included on this DVD that has made me aware that, oh my gosh, all of these movies are made by people. Emily, Victor, Victoria, they're all puppets. It was just incredible to me, being the first thing to make me realize that there's a whole entire industry, a passionate industry behind it. And for many years, that's what Corpse Bride represented to me. About 3 to 4 years after the movie came out, I ended up losing both the DVD and the DVD cover, weirdly enough. Corpse Bride is the original OG. It did what Coraline was never able to do upon first release, and that was scaring the crud out of me. I genuinely believed at the time that I didn't like this movie. I didn't understand it, the color palette was too dark and muted for me, and it was just overall scary. But then saying that, for some reason, it was always stuck on my mind. I was always able to remember it. I literally describe it as beautifully sad. By the beginning of the credits at the end of the movie, there was almost like a longing of something, but I wasn't aware of what that was. It wasn't a Barbie movie. It wasn't a Disney movie. It didn't end on a super happy note for all of the characters. Time period where I lost the DVD itself, and then I ended up losing the cover. I was able to come across the paper. I gave it to my local deli shop. That's where I bought this from, or my mom bought the DVD. And I asked them, do you sell this DVD? They said no. A while after that, I came across the DVD again, but it was in really poor condition. I would literally have a fist thick of an amount of DVDs piled in my bedroom drawer. So eventually it had to be thrown out. Then I would say 5 years ago, I bought this copy off of eBay. It was always something that I appreciated when I had on, but I never actually watched it the way I did. Until, weirdly enough, last week, I don't know what compelled me to, but for some reason I just decided, hey, let's put Corpse Bride on. When I started watching this movie again properly, I didn't realize just how poetic it really was in terms of the storytelling. I've seen reviews of people talking about it many times in the past. Nostalgia critic, people.
In mind to everyone. Charlie.
So I was definitely fully well aware of the movie and just how much of a mature storytelling it was. Have a very adult way of storytelling. These movies definitely live up to the family movie genre. Not the kids movie genre, family movie, okay? Because there is a massive difference, and I will always be upset at people who say,
oh, Frankenweenie is for kids. It's a kids movie.
I'm just applying the Emco Beauty Hydrating Face Primer. Prep and perfect. It actually doesn't feel too bad. It is very moisturizing, actually. It's not a very, like, glidey, sort of almost like a gel texture. Not too bad. It was $13. Here, gonna have to somehow start this. I am scared. Let's look at Emily. Suppose we can start off with applying the blue base. Mecha Transformative Eye Primer. Crease defying base for all day eyes. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I'm just gonna dab it and just hope for the best. And I've got that way too close to my eye. That's not good. Just because I'm trying to make myself look like Emily doesn't mean that I want to go blind and lose my eye. So we're just using this to sort of, you know, help with coverage of the dreaded blue skin. I know I'm not gonna have fun with this.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
Kmart didn't have any blue coverage either. See? For now, we're just gonna leave it like that. About 10 years ago at this point, yep, 10 years ago, 2023, 2013, when I first started getting into doll collecting as a bit more of a serious thing than just being, you know, child's passion, I ended up encountering Chad Allen's channel. I remember seeing this Corpse Bride collection that he had brand new in box, and I was instantly in awe of it, which is a little bit of a rarity for me to be completely in awe of something to that point. But something similar to Corpse Bride that ever was like that was when I found out about the miniature figurines that they did exclusively when Coraline came out in cinemas back in 2009. I was 8 years old, and I had a really heavy obsession with Coraline at the time when it came out. I think it was for my 8th birthday. I ended up getting instead Batman Castle Liana from Barbie and one of the mermaid dolls. I no longer have the mermaid doll because her tail just completely broke. Morphe James Charles palette don't quite have a blue shade that's gonna match for Emily. So what I think I might do is that I might dip into the white base and I'll end up loosely using the blue colors. This is gonna take quite a while to build up to, I'll tell you what. I personally think it's very underappreciated, which is the way I like it personally. It really suits the whole entire underlaying of the storytelling. You know, I would do Victoria Everglot. I would love to at one point. Within the Corpse Bride fandom, they seem to weirdly hate Victoria, even though there was never an option for Victor. Not really. Because he was always going to be with Victoria. He didn't have to choose. And I feel like people who kind of dismiss that part of the storytelling is undermining Emily's storytelling. The whole point was she didn't need a man to fulfill her own inner self. And it's not even necessarily about having a man, it's more so about like her just accepting her fate as who she is. Okay. This is gonna be fun, I can feel it. We're just gonna brush this all the way around. It's funny, even though I am a fully qualified makeup artist, I actually don't do makeup very often. I guess I'm more of a perfectionist in that way. But within saying that, I think it's more so my skin is incredibly sensitive. And it doesn't like it when I do things like this. So I don't do it often. The last time I did it was when I look ridiculous. Was when I did my terrible makeup look on the Mad Hatter from Disney's Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton, of course, in reference to supporting Johnny Depp. And then before that, it was Frankie and Laguna, and I never really touched up on doing fantasy makeup ever again. We're gonna enter the 5th year of my last year in high school. 5 years ago. That's confusing. My senior year of high school, which was 4 something years ago, we ended up doing a project that didn't actually ended up being fulfilled in the end, but it was based on Tim Burton, and we were going to do stop motion based on Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven. Because I'm artsy and crafty, I had the ability to turn a Princess Aurora Sleeping Beauty plush Disney doll into a Tim Burton-esque inspired character. Humble brag. I was initially going to use a Monster High doll as the basis, but I couldn't find any that I was willing to use because I wanted to find one that was somewhat in mattered condition, not very great. Couldn't find any at op shops. Ironically, this was pre-2020, literally a year before, so the dolls were not super expensive yet. Gonna use primer to see if that might help the blending a little bit. Just glide it all over, please. This kids is why we use face paint. Okay, so it looks a little bit clownish right now. But I guess that's the whole entire purpose, right? For my personal preference, it was way too dark. So what I ended up doing is that this photo finish primer water set in refresh spray from Smashbox, it's broken. So I haven't been able to use it in quite a long time. So I've basically dipped the rest of it on the brush and on my face. I've gotten it everywhere else too, in order to water down the blue tinge. And after a bit of fiddling, I'm actually happy with it because this means I also don't have to worry about contouring that much. Because Emily has blotches of darkened colors. The only thing is that this nose is driving me bonkers a little. So while I had been doing that, I obviously was watching Corpse Bride. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Belle, and I'm completely deaf. Sort of. Almost completely deaf. Very complicated. When I was about 4 or 5, conveniently around the same time when I found this movie, I was diagnosed with Pincher syndrome and enlarged vestibular aqueducts. So essentially that means my hearing is completely unstable. I am in a very rare category of people who have been born with natural hearing. Because the conditions are so rare and so unknown, I would say I have about 70% of hearing in my right ear. Otherwise, I am completely deaf. This one has just been lazy. I guess I have a great way of emulating a person who doesn't have a disability because I talk so well, despite the fact that I have an accent, but that's also another mystery as well. There was a time period where I remember not having a disability before it was figured out. I got into trouble a lot for not listening, but I do remember what it was like to be normal in that sense. I never had to consider about having subtitles on, but I would have the volume up ridiculously loud. It's my first time actually watching Corpse Bride with the subtitles on. And there's definitely bits and pieces or words that throughout the years I always mixed up or I just never understood. I thought it was a gibberish sentence or something of the like. Rewatching things now with the subtitles on, I'm amazed by the difference. I just realized Victor was the blueprint of guys that I wanted to be interested in. He's very quiet, humbled. He is opinionated. He knows what he wants when he is confident in it, but he also has his sweet side and he's very passionate. I'm having to come to realization that, oh my god, I'm also a Victor in a sense. Wow! Does this mean I love myself? Is that my problem? The Corpse Bride remains the dead song, and funnily enough, the Lazy Town theme song were songs that I would perform relentlessly to myself in my bedroom late at night, particularly over the summer before starting school again, before going to high school. I made a mistake yesterday. I bought this BYS lip liner, white lip liner. I just destroyed the packaging. It was meant to be an eyeliner. I couldn't find a white eyeliner. So this is gonna be fun. Wait. No, you're not telling me this. It says liner. It doesn't say primer. I think this is a primer. See, look at the consistency of it. It has almost like a see-through sort of texture. It's not predominantly heavy in the white color. And I just tried rubbing it on my hand, and there's no white. Right. What am I gonna do now? I look like a freak. One con about these, they dry quickly. I found on my eyeliner. It's my mother's. The problem is, it's used. Considering that around the eye area, there's still a bit of, you know, skin color, I'm going to dab this around. Because we don't want to make it insanely cartoonish. But we want to make it obviously cartoonish enough. I want to make it into a humanoid version of a Tim Burton character. Tiny one. Yeah. Use that for the white. Let's go back to this one because the pigmentation is, you know, pretty good. Gotta give credit where credit's due. It's also going to help with the fact that it's obviously concealer. So once it dries, it's not gonna have that horrible tacky looking feeling to it. I'm gonna leave it at that. If I mess around with it too much, then that's not going to look good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve out sort of like a hole in my cheek. So going back with the primer, I just need to use her face for reference. She's also got a bit of dirt. That's one thing I always noticed about this movie is that she glows. I love it. It just emulates her personality. Now going back now, roughly. Eyeliner. So I'm just going to go in with this Napoleon Paris. I'm sorry, I suck at pronunciation. Matte Eye. One of the fans of my existence of eyeliners because it is very consistent, which would be a good thing if it wasn't for the fact that I hate heavy looks. So we'll just clean that up a little bit because it doesn't have to be perfect. So just cover it in light. Doesn't matter too much about the fussiness of it. It's clearly not going to be accurate to an actual corpse. I think what we can do now is that considering that we don't need to do much with the blue, I'm going to go in with the brush that I used for foundation. I'm going to go in with this dark brown right here, which is almost a black. And we're just gonna dirty up the face. I forgot that she has a side part. Just gonna flick that. I can't tell if it's her collarbone that's emulated or if it is genuine dirt. Just gonna blend it in. I'm gonna go back in with the white just to get the features a little bit more highlighted because now with the contrast of everything, it's starting to look a lot more blue like it did before. Now, we're gonna go back in with the eyeliner. Again, doesn't have to be super accurate. And I know for a fact that I probably gave myself too much teeth compared to what Emily actually has. Because we sort of want it to look dirty. Going to shade the teeth. And this time we're going to go in all for the black. Because they're puppets, obviously their mouths are not going to be red. I'm gonna leave it at this. Life is boring if it's not a cartoon. I know it's a little too much compared to what Emily actually has. I'm just gonna also flake a little tiny bit off. And maybe I should have done contouring. Give it a little bit of bronze around here just to emulate a little bit of more brownness in the face. Considering that I have a very round face, we don't need to do too much. That's very pointy. What do we do for her eyeshadow? She's got blue, not necessarily wearing makeup. So we're going to go with blue and purple, I think. Just sort of this range of colors right here. We'll figure this out as we go along. Primer, because that's important. This peachish color over here. The inner corner, just a little tiny bit. Now to emulate more of the blue look that she does have, we're going to go in with this again and just pretty much over the whole entire eye area. Emulate that on the other side. Go back and fix up the shimmer. Go in with the purple shimmer, the outer corner. So literally the most basic eyeshadow. Now, because I am super tedious, I'm going to go back in with the eyeliner. This time I am going to do an actual eyeliner, including the bottom lashes, which I'm not going to record. I am so sorry. So this is what we're working with. The under eye could be better, but I'm gonna disguise it with the lashes. This is the problem. It looks terrible. Maybe it's also just having to think of the process, like you know, trust the process, you know, that type of thing. But oh my god, no, I cannot, not with that. No. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have to try and get this off. Oh, the teeth came out though. I took that. This is what I paused on. Neat. I like my nose, but I just made that black. Oh no. For what I'm going for, it's a little too big, you know? And I'm not good with contouring noses, so I don't know how I'm gonna get this to work.
Dab.
We're not gonna fail now. The storytelling with Corpse Bride in particular is just, it's so good. It's a simplistic story about an original fairy tale. Yes, it's based on folklore, but the rest of the story is original, which even still today is such a difficult thing to come across. Just a gentle brush. Alrighty, it's looking better. Corpse Bride chat, fandom, community say that Victor should have chose Emily. He loved Emily more. He never had a choice. That's the whole purpose. He tried to choose Victoria when he ran away from Emily. That was the only time he made his active choice. Otherwise, everybody else spoke for him. His parents did the arranged marriage. He accidentally eloped with Emily, which wasn't even on his own consciousness. And it was Emily who ultimately decided to give Victor up to Victoria because she didn't want Victoria to become the next Corpse Bride. That's how the story was heading. And also the fact that Emily didn't ultimately love Victor. I see them as platonic soulmates. Victoria really risked herself for Victor. And that is something that I think tends to get really overlooked. Put some respect in her name, please. Contouring and shading, I suck at it. Very lightly. I'm gonna drag this. Yeah. I might just dab the way up here too. Alright, now we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing for the eyebrows. What I've seen when it comes to other people doing Emily's makeup look is that they typically like bring it up here, sort of like a crease. We're gonna go in with that dark brown again. I actually like the natural shape of my eyebrows. They're not super thin, but they're definitely not thick. Emily's is definitely not thick. So we're just gonna trail along that. Now, using this slope right here, this work, we're just gonna, yeah. And there we go. And we're following the natural eyebrow too, so it's not a big deal. I feel like this video is gonna be fun to edit. I've been doing this since around 7 o'clock. And it's almost 9:30. What I've done off camera is that I just added eyeliner. Now I've got dark blue on my shoulder. Oh no. Oh well, make it seem like it's part of the skin. So I did this with the big yellow one right there. And obviously I just sort of like smushed around some black. And I added a smaller set of eyelashes underneath. This one doesn't seem to be sitting right, but it's not too noticeable. It's fine. I think it's because the other one's sitting more like that, so it's harder to, yeah, that one's flatter. Oh well. I've been grabbing whatever blue eyeshadow I can, and I'm just brushing it in my hair because I do not have a blue wig. I saw that quite a bit of my hair right here, because of the neck and the shoulder, had a bit of a blue tinge to it. I thought this would just be the easiest way to do it. That way I don't have to worry about dyeing my hair, because I almost contemplated about doing like a semi-permanent dye. Kind of don't care. I'm starting to get tired. But I like how it's turned out. I'm liking it though. Done. All I need to do is do a bit of lipstick. Then I'm happy. Also, for the record, when I went through my own makeup box, I found a white liner. So yay. I don't think this is gonna work, is it? Because it's really, yeah. It's too thin. I'm gonna use a dark liner because it's going against blue. There we go, it's coming together. We'll use the Max Factor X in the shade Cody? Yeah, it's gonna work. There we go. Alright. We're done. Oh my god. We're done. You know, all things considered, I'm actually not that disappointed by it. I really like it. I could have made the nose thinner. Could have buffered out my chin. Like, I've never really done this sort of intense of a makeup look before. Gosh, and I'm so glad I went with purple. I'm so glad I did the eyeshadow. There we go. I am very happy with this. Victor had to go through that in order to become the man that Victoria needed. Victoria was his fairy tale ending. Besides the reasoning to why the parents arranged the marriage, she was going to be his fairy tale ending. But he had his obstacle to face in front of him before he can meet that criteria. And that was to be the man she needed. Be the man that was going to defend her. Quite literally, Barkis was going to kill Victoria regardless if she went to the wedding or not. She stepped on his pride. Come on. Alright. What is your intake on the story? It's a tale of self-sacrifice and learning to grow and become the better version of yourself and being at peace with that. Victoria had a character. Let's not bash on her. She had a character. It was just the fact that she wasn't the main lead. She was sort of a side character in a typical fairy tale that would have been about her. She was willing to fight for the man that she loved. If they ever do a 20th anniversary for Corpse Bride, I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. In less than 2 years, it's going to be 20. Please, 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 please include the deleted song that Johnny Depp sung, because that provides so much good context. Exactly how Victor felt. Victor is bland and boring because that's the whole point. Okay, alright. My pizza is cold. Yeah, it's very cold actually. Ever seen a corpse eat pizza? Have a great day or night wherever you are, and happy Halloween! If you celebrate. I'm assuming you do. Bye.
Know how things will turn out, but one thing's for sure, it's gonna rock.